Hi, it's Amy and Tim with Go With Less, and we are going to get right into it because we've been trying to wrap up this How We Retired in Our 40s for quite some time, and we are now on part 17. We're running through a whole year in one video today and 2 months, so let's get into it. What have we been doing since Amy retired? Tim is still working 15 hours, up to 15 hours a week at this point. He doesn't leave that completely behind until June of 2017, so we're going to finish up with when Tim left his job was November of 2015. So we're going to start right there. We did take a trip to Austin where we had the best barbecue of our life. My first time to Austin, great trip. And in that, right around that same time, the first 2 weeks of November, we became that year super involved with the Denver Film Society. It's an organization that we have volunteered with since 2015, and their biggest event all year is a Denver Film Festival. So as soon as we came home from Austin, we went and did a whole bunch of volunteer shifts at the Denver Film Society.
Something that we found is volunteering is a big part of our current retired life, and so we have a very easy time filling up our schedule, and volunteering takes up a lot of that. Between our travel and our volunteering, we have a very full schedule.
That takes up a ton, and our cooking and our exercising. That's like, there you go. That's probably 90% of what we do. In December of 2015, I had like a dream trip. Poor Tim. We went to visit 14 of my BFFs.
It was great for me as well.
14 of my BFFs from my whole life. So we went back to New York and New Jersey, and we saw friends from high school, from my college, from my working years, friends who relocated there, who I didn't even know when I lived there. It was unbelievable. So they'd all moved out of New York City, where I lived for over 9 years. So they all moved out of the city. Most of them have had children. They have houses and husbands or wives and like I said, kids and full lives. And I never had time to go see them at their house before, and this time I had time to go see them at their house, which was like miraculous, and I loved every single minute of it so much I could hardly stand it. So so that was December of 2015. Here we go. January starts, and I took an undergraduate college class at the University of Denver. My college degree is in economics. It was super boring. My classes were like boring. I did the degree to get a good job in my life, and it worked. However, I didn't enjoy what I was taking for my major, so I went back to school just to take a fun class, and I took a class with the undergraduates of the history of jazz. Except for the instructor, I was like double the age, at least well over double the age of every other kid in there. So so it was undergraduate, and I think they wondered, like, what the heck is this old lady doing in the class? But it was great fun because I enjoy jazz music, and I was really loving getting the history of it. So here we go with February.
So in February, we started working for this company called Argus, which does all the security at concerts here in Denver. Not only concerts, but also they do the Pepsi Center. They're
People don't
ushers
know that around the world, what that is.
The Pepsi Center is our arena, our local arena where basketball is played, where hockey's played.
They do the Denver
they also
Broncos.
Do the Denver Broncos.
Conventions, comedians.
So, all sorts of a venue. So the reason we took this job is it was we wanted to see all these things. This was a way for us potentially to see these events for free, or basically you're not just free to sit there and watch the show. You have a job to do. But that was why we were interested in taking this job, and
yeah.
we did.
It was pretty much close to minimum wage.
And we did this 3-4 nights a week. We were engaged in
3 or 4
something,
nights
so
a
we
week,
saw
starting
an
in February.
incredible amount of things.
We saw like every concert that came through Denver that whole half year, which was great. And we'll kind of wrap up that experience in this video.
Going to go back up a little bit, and so back to October of 2015. So when we went to Mexico, as we were coming back from San Miguel de Allende to Mexico City on the bus, Amy and I met somebody on the bus.
Yeah, we met someone on the bus in Mexico who became a dear friend.
Yeah, so this is just a
traveler.
Crazy story. So this is the way Amy is wired. And so we meet this person, and an amazing guy. And we actually...
And so we're on the bus. Hold on, we're on the bus in October, and he says, "Hey, I'm here visiting. I live in Miami." I said, "Oh, we're going to be visiting Miami in February." In the 4-hour bus ride, he's like, "You must stay with me." I'm like, "Whatever, okay." He's like, "No, you must stay with me." So we went and stayed with him for 2 nights. We had a blast, and he like has become like, I don't know, if you ask us to stay with you, we're probably going to stay with you, and we'll be friends with you for the rest of your life. So just know that invitations are welcome. Anyway, we went to go see him in Miami and spent 2 nights in an Airbnb and 2 nights with him. Had an extraordinary time with him. We met him, and not only did we meet on the bus, but we had off the bus. We went and did fun stuff with him all around Mexico City for the last 24 hours before we flew back out. So it was just like a traveler connection, dear friend. And then in March we had something fun. So Tim and our daughter share a birthday, and that March we got a Frontier Airlines flight for $15 per person per way. So we spent, and if we stayed the night, it was going to be like $200. So if we went for the day, it was $30 round trip. So great. We said, let's just go to the beach for lunch.
So for
we live in Denver.
$100, all 3 of us flew round trip from Denver to LA, and
we went and had Thai food in Malibu.
It was a crazy
We
day.
realized we're never doing that again. So as cool and as fun as it was, we were super exhausted. We were up at like 4 in the morning. We got home at midnight. It was
we took a nap in the car.
We were so tired.
PCH.
Yes, and so I'm not a 4 a.m. person. Like 8 a.m. is more my deal. And then in April, because we were going to be taking trips to 3 Spanish-speaking countries, I started up private Spanish lessons that I took weekly on a really cool service called italki, italki.com. And I spoke with a great tutor in Buenos Aires who spoke with me for it was supposed to be an hour. He always went long, and it was incredibly helpful. And it was just conversation tutoring, and it was like about $10 an hour. One of the best. I've told anyone who wants to learn a language, like, let me get you hooked up in this program because it is awesome. And if you want Spanish, I got the guy for you. He not only here, a plug for him, he is an English teacher in Argentina, so he knows like how to teach language, and he's fluent in English, a native Spanish speaker. You are not getting any better than this guy. Thank you, Martin. So, and his help helped us so much because then in June, we went to Lisbon, Porto, and Madrid. So Lisbon and Porto, easy breezy, only speaking English. Madrid, not as easy. So I loved Madrid so much. We loved Lisbon, we loved Porto. Madrid was a whole other level for me. It was kind of like a little like Paris, a fraction of the price. There was so much to do. We met the kindest, friendliest people. We met so many friends there.
Portugal was
food
amazingly affordable.
Yeah.
And so a beer at a restaurant is $1.
Yeah.
And so
that was great. Yeah. But on that trip, Tim realized like he was having really bad back pain, and it like flared up to beyond belief that trip. We got home, and then that was June. That whole summer was like we were still doing this Argus thing. Tim was in agony. We had to cancel a trip to Tucson that August, and Tim had back surgery in September of that year. Unfortunately, that ate up a $6,000 deductible, but it made you like good as gold on the other side.
Yep. So that was like a health insurance lesson. So we learned some things about why we're going to need to have health insurance and why it's important to have health insurance.
And why it's important to be healthy.
And why it's important to be
healthy.
And
exercise.
We knew that all along.
Stay healthy.
And by the way, the back issue was related to what the doctor called a traumatic event. So like I fell on my butt at some point or another. And that's what caused it. I had a herniated disc, but
he was screaming in pain.
Bad.
Yeah. And here's what was amazing. So the fact that I didn't have a career that I had to get to work, so I could go with him to every single doctor's appointment, which there were many. He got a cortisone shot. He had many appointments with the surgeon. He had all kinds of appointments with the chiropractor. I mean, he went and tried to find everything he could.
Steroid, I don't know, it was cortisone, but anyway, I had a steroid
shot. I thought it was whatever. He had a big shot in his back. He had to have a driver. If I was working, this would have been really hard. First of all, and during his surgery, I obviously was there, but on the other side, Tim wasn't allowed to bend over like an inch or pick anything up. It turns out that he dropped like 20 things a day.
I got the dropsies.
So I had to pick up like 20 things a day, but he couldn't even like towel off in the shower. I had to towel Tim off in the shower. So the fact that I could be home for the full month after he was done with surgery was huge. And if I had a job, I would have eaten up every single day with Tim's back surgery, and I would have had 0 vacation that year. So I was so grateful that I could be there and help him. And then that October, like we had already had this trip planned, we ended up staying in San Miguel. We met another new friend in San Miguel, kind of by accident. He's now like family. There's like a theme in 2016. He's like family. So we had another amazing time in San Miguel.
I don't think you made this clear. So in 2015 we were in San Miguel, and in 2016
we went back.
we were in
We
San Miguel.
loved it so much. Yeah, so we visited our dear friend Peter. Shout out to him. He's since moved to another place in Mexico where we will definitely go visit him. as soon as he's ready for us. In November, we went to go see my parents in Washington, D.C. for my stepmom's birthday, which was very special. And then it's the Denver Film Festival, so we did that again. And then to wrap up our year, we spent a little time it was right before Christmas, in Panama and in Bocas del Toro.
Prior to my back surgery, we also backed out of our Argus gig, so the
That's
concert
right.
thing.
We
so
finished
something
that
I
up.
sort of realized is I didn't even necessarily like concerts. And
He
so
didn't like concerts. We went to like 50 concerts in 2016. I don't like concerts.
Even though this was a fun job, or it was a job, and so I didn't like it, and so we've tried a couple of things.
We'll get to that next year.
There you go.
And so, but with the Argus, like we were in loud concerts, so my ears were ringing. I was afraid it was going to affect my hearing. We were getting home at like midnight.
We were
getting home at midnight every night. So wired from concerts 3 or 4 days a week. So our sleep was messed up. We had to bring like kind of like a packed lunch and eat it in 2 minutes during a break. Like it was all kind of crazy. So as much as we found some nice friends in that gig, it turned out with Tim not even liking concerts, and then he wasn't sure if standing on his feet at these like on concrete surfaces
maybe contributed to my back issue.
So we said goodbye to Argus, and then in December we went to Panama City and Bocas del Toro, which is another part of Panama, and we mentioned talking about that a little bit yesterday, that I hadn't done a lot of good trip planning for that one. So we were Panama City is one of the places that we were Usually we really are pretty easy to please, but I think it was because I didn't do my trip planning. It was so hot. It was like the middle of December, and all my friends on Facebook are saying it's like -5 degrees at home. It was like 88 degrees with like 185% humidity. Hot. Really hot. We met house sitting friends that were traveling through there, new house sitting friends, which I hope we'll see them again in the world. And then now we're caught up in a year and 14 months we did. So it's a bit of a long video. Sorry, but we got to get through it, and they'll be shorter in the future. So please give a thumbs up if you like the quick version. If you want a really long, let us know in the comments. Ask any questions in the comments, because we do answer all of those, and we beg you to please subscribe, because we have a lot of good stuff coming up once we get through like what have we been up to in our retirement. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.